Welcome to Diamond Painting Confessions, the series where sparkle meets secrets. Behind every tray, every canvas, and every stash, there's a story. Some are hilarious, some are creepy, and some too real to ignore. These are the confessions of diamond painters everywhere. Are you ready to hear what we don't dare say out loud? Oh, welcome. What a nice surprise. It seems you have found my confessional crypt. Here, what we do while we work on our whip is talk about some of the deepest, darkest diamond painting confessions. Yes, my friends, this is where I collect all of the diamond painting world's confessions, and then I share them with you so we can talk about them. Some we'll get to laugh at, some will get to get their heartstrings pulled a little bit. Some are just going to be kind of crazy and creepy. So let's find out which confessions we are going to talk about today. Disclaimer: all of the confessionals that I have are true to my knowledge. They were gained from various sources, including Reddits and Facebook posts and personal posts. Some submitted to me, some I see in comments, and just kind of snatched up these little snacks wherever I could get them. And then, thought I'd share them with you. However, I do believe in anonymity, so we are going to keep names out of the mix, but we are going to discuss some of these kind of confessional stories, and we're getting into it. So, my friends, settle in and let's dive into some of the darker corners of diamond painting and find out the secrets that we hide. All right, ready? Let's go. Confession number 1, the tray disaster. The tray disaster. I already know where this is going. That's all you had to say. It's a tray disaster. So, one painter recently confessed, I dropped a full tray of over 3,310, that's black, drills on my carpet. I panicked and I grabbed the vacuum and I sucked them all up. Get rid of the evidence. R.I.P. drills. Oof. Anybody who says that that's never happened to them is either lying or their day is coming. Their day is coming. I'll tell you that much. There is nary a place within the household that you cannot find a drill from a spill accident or just from, I don't know, these things have a mind of their own sometimes. But yes, we've all been there. We've all had those instances where, I don't know, we space out, or maybe something pops up on the TV and what we're watching, and we look away for a second, and when we look back, knock our drill tray over, or you go to pour your drills back in the container and miss completely and they go everywhere. Now, I'm too perfect for any of that to have ever happened to me. Right? Just don't ask Sundown or Leah to verify that, please. Okay. But yeah, no, the amount of times that I have had to, not had to, but that I've edited out, or sometimes I've left it in, where I have a boo-boo moment. Just like a herp-derp moment where I just do something crazy silly and I toss a pen, or I, drop my tray of drills. Notice that my drill tray is sitting firmly affixed on a flat surface here. That is because I have learned if I hold my tray, the tray will spill. So, but yes, yikes, that's happened before. And then just to have that dookie moment and grab a vacuum and suck them all up, luckily, in my opinion, from my perspective, luckily that was a tray of 310s, and generally, at least with the canvases that I do, I have 3 tens in spades in abundance, just pouring out of my ears at this point. So I would have been able to replace those no problem. But if you are somebody who doesn't keep spares, you know, or you do a lot of canvases with colors that don't include a lot of black, well, I don't know. You either order it, or you order, you know, more drills, order that canvas again, or you scrap it, because 3,000? What tray did they have 3,000 drills in? That's my other question. What tray is holding 3,000 drills? That must have been one beast of a tray. Just saying. That's what I'm thinking. But then again, I look at like the amount of drills that are in my tray right now, and it's probably, I don't know, it's probably like a couple hundred or something. And to me, it looks like 2 dozen. How many trays are in your, or how many trays? How many drills are in your tray? Yeah, a couple dozen maybe. And it's probably more like 100, 200, 300. I don't know. I'm not good at estimating by look, but have you guys ever had a tray mishap where you've been, you know, pouring your drills or holding your tray while you're diamond painting, or, you know, trying to relocate things? Maybe you need to get up and use the urination station, and you're relocating your tray, and it still has drills in it and stuff, and they just go shoo, you know, flying everywhere and hitting the floor. What do you do? Do you vacuum them up too and say, well, it was nice knowing you? Do you go through and meticulously try to pick up every drill? And follow-up question, if you're one of those people that tries to recover the drills from the carpet or rug, be honest. Confess, if you will. How many other colors that were not the color you dropped did you find in that carpet or rug? I already know the answer to that, and I don't even have to be at your house. I don't have to know you, and I already know the answer is you found every color of the rainbow buried in that carpet. I don't care how many times you vacuum your rug, whether, you know, on a daily, but you can vacuum every day, and those suckers, they're gonna just weasel their way down to the very bottom fibers of your carpet, and they're gonna live there until somebody steps on them, and they stick to a sock and then transplant through the house, and eventually you find them in the craziest of places. But yeah, that was our first confession. Dropped 3,000 black drills on the carpet and just vacuumed them up. Nothing to see here. Covered up the scene of the crime. On to the next confession. Confession number 2. Blind stabbing for drills. Oh, now, okay. I'm intrigued by stabbing. So let's see here. This person says, I don't pick drills one by one. No, nay. I just stab my pin into the container until one sticks. This is either like lazy genius or chaos waiting to happen, my friends. But I have to admit, and let me confess, I am guilty of doing this as well. I do that when I have just a couple. It's not worth pouring into a tray to stab it, you know, 2 or 3 drills and then pour them back into the container. So I'll just dip my pin into the container and stabby and hope that I reach some. Do any of you do that? I know you do. We all do, right? Like, I'm not alone in this, and neither is the poster who confessed this. But I can't imagine doing a whole canvas that way, how much slower it would be. I mean, look at all these drills. This is a big color blocking area. Could you imagine if I had my container and I was just like stabbing my pin in here? Oh, I got one. But just stabbing my pin in there randomly until it, you know, decided to pick one up just right that I could put down. I mean, it could work for some people. And like I said, that I do that when I have just a couple of drills of that color. There's no point in pouring them all out into a tray just to pluck 3 of them and plop them on a canvas and then pour them all back. But does anybody else out there do that? This blind stabbing method exclusively? I would love to know. Is that the only way you diamond paint? Without no tray needed. Just give me the containers of drills and I got the rest. I'd love to know. All right, my friends, let's move on to our third confession. The stash overload. Uh-oh. Confession. I have about 100 kits in my stash, and I keep buying more. No, we have all lied to ourselves about the whole no buying thing. You are not alone, confessor. Of course, I would never have an overabundance of canvases, more than I could ever do in my lifetime, at my disposal at all times. Not me, but seriously though, who doesn't? We've talked about this, jokingly in the community, and a lot of people have mentioned it in videos and stuff like that, but I think the collecting of diamond painting canvases and even accessories is sort of like a side obsession / hobby. Some people call it a hobby. I'd argue for some it's an obsession. But canvases are a weakness because they're everywhere. Everywhere comes out with all these new images all the time. And it's like, ooh, I want that. Ooh, I want that. I've actually, at one point, I had a stash of over 550, I believe it was. And I did a big, huge de-stash, and I cut that down by over half. I was really proud of myself. But then I started buying more canvases. And it's slowly building itself back up. Yee. So, I am one of those lily-livered, weak-willed people who can't seem but to continue buying canvases. Although I have more than enough here, it's you start seeing, like I said, these new images that come out and then that have not been available before. And maybe if they had been available before, you would have bought it then instead of what you did buy. You know what I'm saying? But what I've learned, and this is something I've recently started instituting, recently being like the last several months, is because of overabundance and space and overconsumption and things like that, and being wasteful versus not being wasteful. When I choose to buy another canvas, I want to make sure that I really, really love it. I need to really love it, right? And then I will buy the canvas or canvases, but however many come in the house, at least that many have to go out of the house, whether I gift it, donate it, give it away, whatever the case may be. If I'm at a point where one in, one out at minimum. But anyway, yeah, I think we've all been there. And you tell yourself, I'm not going to buy another singular one until I start working through my stash. And then your favorite shop drops 20 new images, and out of those you want 21. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be the only one. How many of you are guilty of this? Be honest. Confess in the comments down below. Confess to me. I really need to know that myself and the original confessor of this is not, that we're not alone. It's most of us, right? And then I also want to know, for people who have kind of put themselves on a no buy or a low buy situation, did you stick to it? Were you able to actually stick to it? Be honest. Hey, it counts if you said, hey, I'm on a no buy, and you're just like, well, this is just a little keychain. It's a little coaster, little sun catcher. This don't count. You know what I mean? No, it counts. I want to know how many of you are guilty of doing this kind of thing as well. This person and I can't be alone, right? All right. Okay, confession number 4. Crooked lines forever. So, a diamond painter recently confessed, I don't have the patience to single place square drills. I just don't. My lines are never perfect, and honestly, I do not care. Tipsy drills, give it character, right? I mean, look at me. I'm doing a round canvas right now, and it's not even square, and my drills look like they are at have been at a frat party all night. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of a little wonky all over the place because I'm not using a ruler. So, whose drills are perfectly straight in the first place? Is there anybody out there that like literally single places and does so very slowly, methodically, and with precision, even on big canvases like this? Just boop, got it just right. Let me do it again. Boop. Oh, how about I pick up a drill? There we go. Boop, just right. Is there anybody out there that does this? I mean, there's no shame. No shame, no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone, my friends. I'm just curious. I aim for perfection, and I'm happy with whatever result I get, whether I'm off the mark or not. Generally. Sometimes. Most of the time. But I do have rulers for when I want to just really make sure that there is, I give it its best shot at perfection. But it's not something that I use every canvas every day. I don't have enough rulers to do that. I have too many whips to have rulers on every single one all the time. But yeah, what about with square drills? I mean, it depends. You got to kind of be careful with them acrylics, but resin, a little bit easier, a little bit more forgiving. But still, I don't know about having them, perfectly aligned. I don't know that I would have the patience to single place perfectly either. I might multi-place and then shift the drills ever so slightly like that right there to get them in the right spot. But could you imagine doing some of these bigger canvases square and single placing one by one and being methodical and like perfect about it? Does anybody do that? I really genuinely want to know. I think that I could become one of those people. I could see that me very easily falling into that rabbit hole with my touch of the OCD. I just try to fancy it up, you know what I'm saying? Make it sound fancier than it is. With the little touch of my OCD, it's a struggle. I do have to kind of really work mentally at saying it's not perfect, it's okay, and there are days when I just don't have that strength and I can't fight it, and I will kind of go in there and be a little more precise. But generally most days I have such a good handle on it that I can let crazy, wonky, imperfectly placed drills live their best life where they land. But that's just me. I want to hear from you, who is guilty of drunken drills. That's funny. Uh-oh. I took a peek at the next one. Took a peek. Sorry. I cheated. I took a peek. This next one I think is going to resonate with a vast majority of us. And probably lead to some funny stories. So, are you ready? Here's confession number 5. Stash hiding. Hiding those stashes. So, another crafter recently admitted that, quote, My husband does not know I have an entire closet full of unopened kits. I tell him they're just gifts, man. The vault of sparkle. That's kind of a genius idea. That's what I would call it, the vault, the crypt, the crypt of sparkle. How many of you have a hidden stash where, like, your significant other, family members, your kids, whoever it is in your life that you see on a regular basis or live in your house with you, do not know the extent of your diamond painting habit? We'll call it a habit. I would love to know. And I read this one. I immediately thought crafty ishKristyn, because I happen to know that Kristen does in fact have a closet of sparkle. She has a secret closet stash. Whether or not Mr. Kristen knows about it, I don't know. I think recently she did post a picture where she was talking about being forced to clear out, amongst other things, her sparkle vault, and that would lead me to believe that either he found it and was like, no ma'am, or she was afraid he would find it and she took care of it while he was at work. Either way, there's photographic evidence of the crime on her Facebook page, and I think maybe her YouTube community. But yeah, I read this story and I was like, was this Kristen's confession? Because I know she keeps them in a closet. I don't keep mine in a closet. This is terrible. I have a small room dedicated to my stash, and I do also have some that have crept their way out here into my crafting room, and are mounted on the wall in a storage apparatus situation. There is no hiding my diamond painting addiction. None. I mean, I have a channel. It's not like I can really hide, but there's no hiding my stash either. It is too voluminous to hide, and no closet could contain it. But yeah, I know there's some of you out there. There's got to be some of you that have this secret passion hidden away. Is that you? Let us know in the comments below. Your secret's safe with us. I promise. I promise. I would love to know who has a sparkle vault, who has a sparkle crypt. Anybody who keeps their dirty little stash secret behind closed doors. Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Could be. I want to know. Confess thine diamond painting sin unto us. We're friends here. You're safe. You're in a safe space. You can tell us about your crypt of sparkles. It's funny hiding it. I mean, how many of you hide it from, where you're like legit hide it, or even semi hide it in terms of like, oh, they know I diamond paint. They know I have like these dozen canvases over here. But what they don't know is in the basement, in the dark corner, I have about 50 more. How many of you are out there? Let us know. Reveal thyself. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. This one's going to be a little creepy. Before we get into that one, though, you guys are going to see me commit the diamond painting. Do we call it a sin? Diamond painting sin? Because these are confessions, right? That we just talked about, where somebody just blindly stabs into their container. Doing it right now because there's only 3 spades, and I don't see the need to pour the container into the tray for 3 drills, so I just boink, 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 right into the container. Guilty. Guilty. All right. Confession number 6, the haunted canvas. Ooh, this one is arguably a stabbable moment. This situation, there's not too many of these H's, but I just got caught red-handed, so I'm gonna behave and pour them in the tray like a good little diamond painter should. Confession number 6, the haunted canvas. Okay, here we go. So, late one night, a diamond painter shared this story. I was working on a haunted house canvas at 2 a.m. and I swear I saw something move in the drills. Now this is why some of you shouldn't paint horror diamond canvases alone. Some of you can't handle it. You can't handle the truth. My guess would be it was a mosquito, a fly, a gnat, an ant. You know, if you're, you know, a flea, a tick. Oh my gosh, a deadly tick. I'm sure that maybe they were just overtired and their eyes were playing tricks on them. Right. I don't know. It's going to make you think twice before diamond painting a horror canvas alone at night at 2 a.m., right? By then, you're probably all loopy goofy. Things are, you know, the symbols are swimming in your vision and stuff. We've all been there, but I can't say that I saw something in the drill. I mean, in the drills moving. I wonder what they mean by that. Like, were the drills already on the canvas and something was weaving its way between them? Or were the drills themselves moving? Is it the drills in their tray? Were they moving? Maybe you shook your tray. Maybe they were just shifting in place. I don't know. But I think they just creeped themselves out, to be honest. They were working on a haunted house canvas, middle of the night. I think they let it get to them. I don't know. Some of you are not cut out for horror diamond painting. Yeah, I know you're out there. You've told me as much. But I think that person maybe needs to go find a fluffy kitten or some unicorn farts and fairy dust, right? Yup. Have any of you been spooked, startled, thought you caught a glimpse of something, or, you know, been creeped out by a canvas that you've been working on? Even if it's not like you saw things moving around, but just generally creeped out. You're working on a canvas and like you realize this is creepy. I'm kind of creeped out. I'd love to hear that. Let me know. Oh, and let's see. Confession number 7. Are we ready? Yeah, I'm not. Confession 6.5. I'm not ready. There was one drill. Hello? And I felt like there was one on my camera. There was one of those symbols, so I just needed to take care of that real quick. All right. Here I go, stabbing in the container again. Maybe that was my confession. You never know. I'm not revealing the sources, but signs point to mushy on that one. Just blindly stabbing in the container, hoping I grab one the right way. Doing it right in your face. All right, let's see. Confession 7, drills everywhere. So, a diamond painter said, I find drills in my bed, in my food, even in my shoes. They follow me everywhere. Sometimes I wonder if they're really alive. Drills are the new glitter. Eternal and cursed, right? Drills are almost as bad as glitter. They must be related. There's got to be a familial connection there, right? I don't know. You can ask some of my creep mail recipients what they think, because I didn't send glitter, but I didn't send drills either. I sent something in between, and I know I saw somebody got bamboozled by my package. But yeah, we've all found drills in creepy places. There's an old whip and chat from early on, near the beginning of my channel, where I told the story of how Sundown was going in for a procedure, and he went in clean, and he came out with it was a mystery. At first I thought it was a 310 on the family jewels. And how I know this is, he was done. He was waking up from the procedure, and they were wanting me to help him get dressed, and GTFO, they wanted us out of there, you know. And so went to help him put on his skivvies, and I panicked because you would think, you know, being in a hospital, a sterile setting, having just had a procedure done and all that stuff, that everything would be clean, sparkly clean and all that stuff, and it was, but there was this perfectly round little drill sized, looked like a 310 on the family jewels, just right smack dab right there, staring me in the face. And I panicked because I thought, if he sees the oh my gosh, I'd bedazzled his junk. The doctor saw it and all that stuff. And I went into panic mode because I was like, I can't let him see that that'll push him over the edge. My diamond painting days will be over. You know, and yeah, so it looked like a little black 310 drill. And maybe even like the scariest part was that, like I said, this was at a hospital. It was a procedure, and he had been under anesthesia. He had been in a sterile environment. You'd think. He went into the procedure completely, you know, unbedazzled, right? And came out of it bedazzled. But it turns out it was actually a small seed tick. And I'm just like, how sterile was that environment? If he went in to the procedure and it was not there was no little creepy crawly bloodsucker on his person, and he came out of the procedure room, the sterile environment, with what I thought was a 310 drill firmly affixed to the family jewels, that makes you wonder about the hospital, frankly. But there's the F. But anyway, yeah, that was a really funny whip and chat. I think it's called it was around Christmas of the first year of my channel, and it's called something to the effect of not an elf on a shelf, but a tick on a, and ... I let the audience fill in the blank. And that whip and chat, I was in tears because it took forever to film because I couldn't stop laughing telling the story. Telling the story, and it's best heard when it was new and fresh. So I encourage you, if you're interested and you want a good laugh, that particular whip and chat is really, really funny, and I encourage you to check it out. And also around the same time period, when our when our water lines and pipes froze, including our sewer pipes, and Sundown became the Sundown Sewer Monster. That's how that image and that nickname came to be. Also a very, very funny story. I got attacked personally by sewage, I guess. My own bodily fluids came back and chased me through the house. It was crazy. And again, one of those stories that it's best heard in that video when everything was fresh and happening. But we've all found them. I've seen people, you know, post pictures and comments and stuff like, I was in the shower and look what's on my thigh. I found him on Sundown's hip. They've been embedded in his booty cheek. Like, how did he? One time Leah came home from work. I can't even find my symbol, y'all. I'm just I can't concentrate. Leah came home from work one day, took off her shoes, and she was like, my feet are killing me. She was like, went to rub her foot, you know, and massage it because her feet were hurting. And she was like, what the heck? And she pulls her hand away, and there's a couple drills on her hand. And then she looks at the bottom of her socked foot and found out that the whole bottom of her sock was covered in drills, and she had, I guess she had maybe walked through the craft room in her socks before work or something, and then went and put her shoes on. And all day long had been walking with her whole like foot covered in the bottom of her sock covered in diamond drills, which was mashed in the shoe, and she had been walking on it. I've heard people talk about finding them in very personal spaces. And I know I have found some in some pretty private areas. You know, there's been the cleavage has caught a lot of them. I mean, heck, you know, the sisters up, the northern sisters up here, they're crumb catchers, ladies. We know that, right? They're also drill catchers. Sometimes that works to our benefit, but sometimes when we don't realize it and it gets like embedded, becomes uncomfortable. But where's the craziest place you have found a drill? Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I'm sharing some of my own personal confessions, I guess, here. And definitely check out those whip and chats. They're hilarious, I promise. I feel like we're ready to move on to the next one, but I do need to kind of give you a trigger warning. This one's more serious and personal to the poster, and they're trigger warning. We'll just go with that, trigger warning. It's a sensitive topic. This one's more serious, and I would like to treat it with the respect it deserves. Okay, and keep that in mind. Confession number 8, life and death deadlines. One person in a heartbreaking confession says, I told myself I couldn't commit self-unaliving until I finished my canvas. And then the next one, and then the next one. I think this is a testament to the fact that crafting can save lives. Not just diamond painting, any kind of crafting. Crafting can save lives. If you're struggling, please know that you are not alone. Many of us struggle with things and use crafting as a tool and a coping mechanism and a distraction, and it heals. It can heal. It can help for a lot of people. And this is a testament to that. If you feel like you are in a place like this poster was in, please reach out and get help. Friends, family, there are hotlines. I'll put a link to a hotline in the description box down below. It's completely anonymous, and it's there to help people who feel like this poster did. Kudos to them for being self-aware enough to acknowledge that they were in this dark place, and for having the strength and perseverance to find something that helped them and stick with it. And I genuinely hope that they're okay and that they were able to get the help that they needed or self-heal. And it's moving to know that crafting, specifically diamond painting, helped them do that. I know that a lot of us who diamond paint and craft in general, I think, do suffer from something. I mean, no life is perfect. We all have our things, right? And I know that I got into diamond painting to help me manage self-medicate, self-manage panic attacks that I got, and maybe a touch of the depresso espresso due to medical circumstances in my life when I first started receiving some diagnoses, and they were serious and scary and life altering and life threatening, and I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't have the coping mechanisms, and diamond painting really helped me through a lot of that and continues to help me through a lot of my darker times. It gives me something to focus on, concentrate on. I almost feel like it's kind of a puzzle-esque vibe. Keeps my brain from wandering to some places that maybe I don't want it to go. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there. On this one, I'm not going to ask you to share. That's your private, personal business. And I would never ask you to share something so personal. So on this one, no comments necessary, or, don't feel like you have to share or comment. But just know that if you are someone who is struggling, there is help, there is community, there is friendship, there is love, and there are resources in the description box for you, and potentially the pinned comment as well. So please get help if you are at this point where you're diamond painting to stay alive. Sorry about that. I had to take a little pause break and kind of recenter myself after that one. It's both beautiful in that crafting helped this person persevere, but also just very heavy, very heavy, very serious. So but the show must go on, so we'll move on to confession number 9, throwing them away. Another diamond painter said, "I love the process, but I don't love the product. I throw most of my paintings away." Okay. I mean, that's valid. It's yours to do what you want with, and I can relate to that sometimes. I just love diamond painting. I know there's a lot of us that do diamond paintings as we like the image and we like the craft, and so we diamond paint, but when it's done, it's not necessarily something you want on your wall. Like, hey, this is cool enough, but like, this isn't wall material, not for my house. Or whether you don't have room, or you just don't want the image in your decor, or whatever the case may be. There's tons of us out there, right? That person's not alone in that. But I don't know. I'm a pack rat, I guess. I've kept a bunch of them. I've gifted a bunch. What do you do with your diamond paintings when you're done? I know some people put them on a wall. Some people don't like things on their walls. Some people don't want diamond paintings in particular on their walls. Others probably have made wallpaper out of diamond paintings. My house is getting to that point right now. But yeah, I'd love to know, what do you do with yours? I have some on my walls, obviously, and I have some in portfolios, stored in airtight portfolios. A couple portfolios, words are hard, are under my bed. I have some rolled up and stored away in my stash room. So they're kind of everywhere. What do you do with yours when you're done? I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you do. Does anybody do anything like not normal with them? Like, it's what I consider not normal would be like the gifting and the donating and the storing in portfolios. But is there anybody who's done something that they haven't heard anybody else do? Because confess. I want to hear your confession. I'm trying to find an umbrella. You guys, I can't identify an umbrella, apparently. What does an umbrella look like? Who knows? Oh, right there. Found it. All right. So, I don't know. Throwing them away just seems like, I guess that's why it's a confession. It seems like such a sin to throw them away. You know what I mean? Yee. There have been some that got binned. They were that bad. I pushed through and I finished it just to give it, because sometimes a diamond painting looks like, oh gosh, this isn't going to work. Oh no. But then you get it done and you take a few steps back. You step back a few feet and you look at it and you're like, shoo, it worked. And you never know. Your canvas that looks like cock-a-doodle as you're doing it could actually turn out to be a pretty decent, if not a really, really good art piece when you finish it and you see it as a whole completion, and you've stepped away where your nose isn't glued to the canvas. You step a few feet away and like magic, things come together and it turns out to be amazing. But there are some that not even distance can save, right? I'd like to know, have any of you ever been to canvas after you finished it? And what about like the cavalier kind of casual tone where they're just like, hey, I love the process, but I don't like the end. I don't like the painting. I don't like it when it's done. I don't want it. I don't like it. I just like to do it. Is there anybody out there that's like that? Do you do that with jigsaw puzzles? I imagine this person's probably maybe a jigsaw puzzle or two, because you can take the time and put the puzzle together and then break it apart and do it all over again. If you like the process but not the finish, then I imagine that they would love to do jigsaw puzzles and be able to just boop, 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 and then crunch, and then boop, 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 boop. You know, just a thought. If that person's out there and you hear this and you haven't thought of jigsaw puzzles already, maybe give that a try and save yourself some money. That way you're not buying kits, you buy puzzles, and those are, you can do those 100,000 times or more. You could do those for infinity if you wanted. And my friends, it would appear that we have reached our final confession for today. This confession is called accessory addiction. I feel personally attacked already. Oh no. So, our final confessor says, I've spent more on pens, trays, and waxes than I have on diamond painting kits. Wow. Wow. Pen collectors, I see you. I see you. No shame, no shame. Pens, I think, tend to be the most expensive of our accessories, I would think. But no, I think we all, that's another one of those things that we hear a lot about in the community, in videos and posts and stuff like that. And that's why we have a lot of the small shops that we do, and they're so successful and stuff, is because I think the accessory collecting is a side hobby or addiction for some people, as well as like collecting canvases. You know what I mean? You just, it's the same kind of, for me, it's the same kind of mental process. It's like you see something new and that's never, that you haven't seen before, or that wasn't there when you bought your last thing or whatever, and you're like, I've got to have that. Oh, that, if I had seen that, I would have gotten that instead. But now, you know, it wasn't there, and now it is there, and now I got to have that too. And it just snowballs out of control. And sometimes I think there are some of us that don't even realize that we're rolling down that slippery slope until you go and open your pen drawer, or, you know, take a look at your pen collection or whatever, and you realize, oh, I have quite a few of these. I have quite a few. Or when a vendor or shop starts knowing you by name. Oh, hey, you're back again, Mushy? Yep, that's me. But I think a lot of us are guilty of this, and I wonder what it is, and I wonder if it permeates into other crafts. You know, is this a diamond painting specific thing that we get kind of, we fall into the habit or side hobby, or, you know, arguably addiction of collecting canvases and collecting accessories, or one type of accessory that appeals to us and that just does something. Is it retail therapy? Is it Pokemon, gotta catch them all? You know, does this happen in other? I think I would argue that it does, because if you guys could only see Leah's yarn stash, oh boy, it is so voluminous that it's filled closets, multiple closets, and it's filled multiple cubbies, a whole wall. She has a whole wall in one of her two. Yeah, she has 2 rooms in our house, and this is why. Because she has so much crafting crap. But it's just so much yarn that it like is spilling out into the hallway now. And luckily it's her side of the house, and we don't really have to look at it, touch it, deal with it. It's, you know, it's not cluttering. It hasn't permeated into our living spaces, public living spaces yet. But yeah, so I'd argue it probably does invade other crafts as well. But I wonder, any of you, is it primarily diamond painting, or have you seen it in other crafts too? And I just find it interesting. How many of you, confess, how many of you have an accessory hoarding problem? Me. I do, but it's not as bad. I'm not as attracted to hoarding accessories as I am canvases, but there's a few exceptions here or there. You can catch me. I've got release paper obsession. Oh, okay, all right, maybe I'm guilty too of all of it, and I'm just trying to rationalize myself out of that confession, that acknowledgement, that actualization. You're not alone. If you're one of those people who has a side hobby of collecting all this stuff, you are not alone. I don't know. For me, sometimes I like color coding or theme coding my diamond painting experience, and every canvas is different, and so it needs a different pen, and it needs a different tray, and it needs different release papers and cover minders, and and now I'm thinking about, hey, I need to end this video so I can go on Etsy and take a look. No, I don't. Yes, I do. But yeah, you guys, let me know all the things that you collect in your diamond painting craft or any other craft. I can imagine it probably goes into coloring too. Different kinds of markers, different vendors, different tips, different types, different inks, and colored pencils maybe, and charcoal, and painting, like painting and different paint brands and canvas types. And I would love to know, like, what evil side vice, accessory collecting vices are out there for other crafts besides diamond painting too. Anyway, those were tonight's diamond painting confessions. What about you? What's your secret? Drop it in the comments below, or send it to me anonymously if you'd like to stay in the shadows. Your story might appear in a future episode. But until then, keep it sparkly, keep it creepy, and keep those confessions coming. Stay naughty, friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.